You are listening to the Ben Mulroney Show on this June 17th. I believe it is Tuesday. Some people say Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. And we're in the second hour of the show, and we haven't even talked G7 yet. But it's going on in Kananaskis. Our new prime minister, the host of what I think is probably the most significant summit that he will attend this year. He had a lot of grand designs on hosting this event, and he brought in not just members of the G7, but some special all-stars in the form of the president of South Africa, the prime minister of India, the president of Ukraine, the prime minister of Australia. I mean, it's a who's who in an attempt, I think, to leverage the G7 to the benefit of all, but specifically Canada and Canadians. And they got off to a great start. It really did. Let's listen to our prime minister referencing our neighbor to the south, Donald Trump.
We have to change with the times and to build a better world. And some of you, such as you, Mr. President, have anticipated these massive changes and are taking bold measures to address them. All of us around this table are reinforcing our militaries and security services for the new world. But we all know that there can be no security without economic prosperity and no prosperity without resilience. And in a world where shocks flow across the borders, that resilience comes from cooperation.
So listen, that's what you got to do. You got to be magnanimous, and you've got to be a good host. And so when you welcome people into your home, you don't hit them over the head. You welcome them in and you make them comfortable. And one of the ways you make Donald Trump comfortable is you flatter him. But I've been not for nothing. This feels like it's going according to the script that every prime minister has read from since the beginning of time. And this does not jive with what the Liberal Party successfully sold enough Canadians on the campaign trail that our old relationship with the United States is over. And it is now time to build a new relationship. I mean, every prime minister could say that. My dad, when he came into power in 1984, could have said that about the Canadian-U.S. relationship because he was going to do it far differently than his predecessor, not necessarily immediate predecessor, but the Trudeau regime that had great disdain for the Americans, antagonistic disdain for the Americans. Brian Mulroney came in and reset the relationship. So it's not a new relationship. It's simply a new chapter because the players are new. But the fear worked, and now he's gone back to the script of just building a new relationship as one does. So it got off to a good start. There was a hope that perhaps a side conversation with the president could have led to, I don't know, some sort of ratcheting down of the tariffs. That did not happen. But there was a commitment for a new trade deal. It's a plan for a plan because we have now, the clock is ticking and both sides have agreed that we will have a plan in place in 30 days. I don't know what the point is of announcing that because now the expectation has been set that 30 days from now, everyone's going to come together and sign a deal. And if that doesn't happen, then it will be viewed as a failure. There's no prescription for this. They did not have to set a timer, and yet they did. So I'm now expecting a deal in 30 days. And if it doesn't materialize, I will have to hold the government to account. So this is on them. They chose to do this, and we'll have to see. Now, yesterday we predicted that all the grand designs of our ambitious prime minister could be scuttled by the Iranian situation, and that's exactly apparently what happened because the president left the summit after less than a day. After dinner, he got on Air Force One and said he had to go deal with the Iranian situation that is changing in real time. And Emmanuel Macron, the president of the of France, said of the president of the United States that he didn't leave because of Iran, and Donald Trump did not like that. He posted on True Social, publicity-seeking President Emmanuel Macron of France mistakenly said, "I left the G7 summit in Canada to go back to D.C. to work on a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Wrong. He has no idea why I am now on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire." Wait, that doesn't make any sense. I thought he was leaving because of the ceasefire. Yeah, because he said so on the plane. I don't know. Maybe Emmanuel Macron was right. Anyway, moving along, we know in Canada that our prosperity cannot forever be tied to the United States. We have to look elsewhere, and we have to look inward. And all parties agreed in the last election that breaking down internal trade barriers was essential to our prosperity. And so the One Economy Act, Bill C-5, which is legislation to be tabled by the Liberal government, aims to reduce internal trade barriers by recognizing provincial certification and regulations and fast-track natural resource projects by declaring them of national interest. The bill is branded as part of the nation building by the Liberal government, except that if they don't make the commensurate changes to the natural resource and extraction killing bills of the Trudeau Liberals, I don't know how this is meaningful. If they don't get rid of the production cap, if they don't get rid of the tanker ban, if they don't cut all the red tape that comes from keeping the no new pipelines bill, if they don't get rid of that, then these things are going to cancel each other out, I think. Now, that being said, this bill C-5 passed with an initial fast track vote of 305 to 30. That was late yesterday. It was supported by the Liberals and the Tories. No surprise, it was opposed by the Bloc Québécois, who don't want to build a nation. So why would they want to build a national economy? The NDP, because the NDP, and the Green MPs. I mean, look, the NDP voted against that. I guarantee you Wab Kinew, who's the most successful NDP leader in the country, would have voted for it. They really should be looking in the mirror. They really should be looking in the mirror and asking themselves, what exactly are we doing here in Ottawa? So this marks a shift in alliances big time. Previous Liberal minority relied on the NDP and the Bloc. And now, I think in a great show of national solidarity, they're finding common cause with the Tories. And keeping in mind that the Tories and the Liberals made up about 80% of the vote in across the country. If you take Quebec out of that, it's closer to 90% of the votes across the country voted in favor of this. So that to me is a very good sign that the leadership of the Liberals, they should get credit for that. Again, though, the context of those other bills, those other laws have to be addressed. The Conservative position was that they supported Bill C-5, but it doesn't go far enough. Again, they want the Liberals to repeal the impact assessment legislation, and they describe the current laws as obstacles to investment and development. So they're actually saying exactly what I said. Like, you've got the groundwork that was laid by the previous government, and this is the problem with the reskinning of the Liberals. The old Liberal, are the old Liberals the same as the new? Well, if they don't change the very laws that they voted to enact, then they are. If it's like trying to put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. And so this is where the rubber is going to meet the road, folks. A lot of us voted for the new Liberal Party because we were told they were a new Liberal Party. This is where we're going to see how new they are. How willing are they to cast aside the blunders and mistakes and dumbfoundingly stupid decisions that were made over 10 years. And if they can do that, maybe they are a new Liberal Party. We'll have to wait and see. Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.